they keep us divided so that we're always mad at each other, so we don't get together and do the things you were talking about, where we talk about our concerns.
Yeah. And we gain momentum. I mean, look what happened with Standing Rock. I mean, Standing Rock scared the pants off the establishment. And they literally used military tactics to shut it down. What, against a bunch of Native Americans who were engaging in peaceful protest? Really? They needed military interaction for that. And they needed police with military tactics. That, to me, just showed me how afraid the establishment is of all of us coming together and starting to stand up for a cause. And a lot of people look at Standing Rock and say, well, it was, oil and this and that, or, well, it failed ultimately anyway, but it didn't. It didn't. Because I don't think we're going to see the real change that we need to see in our lifetime, potentially, but the seed has to be planted somewhere. Because now you have people challenging the oil companies. You have people challenging people like Sunoco, who came in and just had themselves changed enough money changed hands to have themselves declared a utility conveniently. And now you see what's happening. So people are starting to rise up and they are starting to use their voice. And the people that I have real difficulty with are the people like your friend who want to complain about things potentially, but actually don't want to do anything. Or people who have a lot of opinions about how things should be and it needs to be, but you say, well, what are you doing?
Right.
Nothing. I'm paying taxes. Well, you have to pay taxes or they come for you. Okay. So realistically, it's not like it's optional. So what else are you doing? Where else is your money going? And that's where I start to draw the line between the people who are yeses in life and the people who are nos in life. And I have this unnatural, really, it's a gift. I'm telling you, it's a gift. I can tell who's for real and I can tell who's for not in a nanosecond. And so I use that a lot in terms of, I don't want to say judging people because I don't really judge people, but I do understand capacity and resource. And I understand the people who are taking up space on this planet and the people who have the potential to enact real change in this world. And they're the people I want to spend my time with. I don't want to spend my time with people anymore who are just taking up space. I've had enough of that in my life and in my career. I'm sure you get to the same point.
Oh yeah. You encounter people that are they just want to waste time, and there's two types of people like that. There's people that want to waste their own time, and there's people that want to waste your time too. And
yeah.
And at least if you're going to waste time, grab yourself a meatball sandwich, sit at home alone, and don't bother anybody else. There's your introvert and your extrovert time waster. But yeah, that's so true. And there are members of my family in my generation that lived on reservations, and that Standing Rock bothered me more than a lot of things. It just, sometimes you're fuzzy and sometimes you're on the fence about right or wrong, but that sometimes you just see wrong just unfolding in front of you.
Exactly right.
In every way. And I just have a problem with military vehicles on citizens of this country in a non-war situation. I just the rules of engagement are changing and not for the better, and it's just it's frightening in some ways. And I just think that it's there's so much stuff on the internet, and you don't want to buy in any of it. But one of the things that just made me laugh and shudder at the same time was somebody who is like very Nordic looking and everything, asking a Native American for proof of citizenship. And it was like, come on, don't you even see the irony in that?
Right.
It should be the other way around. The show, how do you feel about radio as a medium, its viability in the digital age?
Yeah, I know. It's an interesting thing right now. And we were just having this conversation at the station today. Free radio waves are becoming a thing of the past. I work at WCHE 1520 AM. It's an independent radio station. It has always been an independent radio station. And all of the there's only so much airwave. There are only so many airwaves out there, like how much the government gives out, etc. If all these big media companies are coming at Comcast, coming in and buying up entertainment venues, airwave, radio stations, internet companies, and they're controlling the conversation. They're controlling everything. So if people don't wise up and start investing in publications that like Yes Magazine and The Guardian, and yes, they are digital, but they also have, paper, good old paper. You can actually go and pick up a copy of Yes Magazine. It takes a lot of money now to have investigative reporting like the kind that's being done by these magazines. And radio stations need funds to survive, because it's a really hard sell now to say, oh, well, advertise on our radio station. Even with a 3 million reach, we have conversations that make it difficult sometimes. And if these radio stations go away, if these independent publications go away, who's going to be feeding us our news? I have technology companies as clients. I know how easy it is to go in and with a few keystrokes change information in Wikipedia so that everybody who reads it is going to now know the sky is green, not blue. And it starts to sort. So all the history starts to go away. If we don't keep paper publications, if we don't have independent reporting sources, if we don't have airwaves that are independent and free of influence from government and big companies, how are people going to extrapolate that out in your brain? How are people going to actually know what's really going on? You'll end up in a police state, which we're already moving toward, and you'll end up with censorship. Free speech is becoming a thing of the past. So I would encourage people, you got to get out. You got to support these independent sources. You got to buy their publications. You got to send them $5 when they ask for it. You got to basically buy ad space on free radio. Is the return on investment maybe as good as? But let me tell you, the people in my radio station who advertise get a lot of business from advertising. It's just, you have to keep talking to people about it. And I just think that over time, I'm a big supporter of free speech, and I'm afraid that it's going to go away in my lifetime.
Well, and something you said there's really important that I've had people on from all the mediums, and as you go through them, there's less culpability. The more intangible what you say is, the less you have to be accurate. And
yeah.
When you're putting something on paper, it's there.
Mm-hmm.
It's there.
Mm-hmm.
And
forever.
That's that's a much bigger commitment than something that you could erase. There's no backspace on that once it's in your hand. Mm-hmm. And people don't understand it, even amongst journalists, from digital video to digital audio to web to paper to radio. It's different. I mean, every medium has different things. We have to be a certain amount of accurate on here on your show because people are listening and everything. We have different breaks. Fortunately, in radio, your wardrobe can run you as little as $5.
Yep.
TV, a lot more. I mean,
Yep. And look what happens over time. I mean, look what YouTube just did recently. They had, everybody can be famous now. This is the first generation coming up where they actually think being a reality star is a viable career, right? So everybody's getting, all the younger generation is getting these YouTube channels, and they're all trying to be famous because it drives revenue for YouTube. Well, YouTube recently, because of this, one of their little rock stars, I think his name is Ryan Logan, he actually photographed or did a segment on this dead body, and people really had a fit. And so, but what happened, now YouTube has knocked out a whole slew of small independent people who were trying to do things on YouTube because now they're scared to death. So yet again, here's what was an independent source of people getting a word out, and it's being controlled. And that's all I see anymore. Control, control, control. All about the soundbite, all about this, all about that. And I just see us heading for a scenario where we are not going to know what's going on in this world, and they are going to own us lock, stock, and barrel.
Well, and nobody cares about accuracy anymore.
True.
They care about speed.
Look at our president, right? Yeah, look at our president. Treasonous because you didn't stand and applaud me in a speech. Come on, dude, really?
Yeah, I think that some decorum is going out of the whole office on both sides, but I think that we got to be important. It's important we use the right words, and I think treasonous is a very strong word.
Yes.
And let's use the right words. Let's not always go to the nuclear option in our lexicon.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Since we're talking about words tomorrow, we're supposed to get a little wet weather. What's another word for rain? What's another word?
I mean, I can't do it. You know what's funny? They used to put the P word in everything to try to get me to say it, and I was like all about it. I would love to be able to say that word, and I'd be gliding along. Monday weather, Tuesday weather, Monday day, Monday night, blah 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 blah. 40% chance of dead stop. Or my worst fear, I start to say it, I just go.
For those who don't know, Donna can't say the word precipitation, and she freezes up and falls over like one of those paralyzed goats that you see on TV.
I do, legs flailing in the air. Yeah, I'm not even proud. I'm just like, I can't. And then my show is called Fresh Perspective. Do you know how many times I had to practice saying the word perspective? Because I discovered that apparently I have more than one problem with a P word, and the second word was perspective. So I've had but I can't get past the. And
I bet sometimes you're trying to say prospective instead of perspective.
No, I couldn't even get that far. Yeah. My brain just seizes up, and my throat closes, and I don't even understand it. Right now, I just tried to say it, and there I was, dead silent.
But this morning, I got you to say Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, and you said it fine.
I didn't say that. I know. I don't know what it is. I legitimately, this is a legitimate problem for me. And then they know my second, my most unfavorite word is moist. So, every now and then I'll be reading the forecast, and, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. Really? I don't pay attention to what I read. I try, but realistically, weather is not interesting. So I'll go, at a 40% chance of, and they go moistness. And I'm like, oh, God, make him stop. Make him stop.
Well, what you need to do is you need to record the word on your phone and just make, a little mini soundboard where you can just push it and just get it right out there.
I'm trying. I've tried so many times in the shower. People sing. I try to say these words. I know. And I talk for a living. I mean, it's really frightening when you think about it.
It's amazing how once you do something, you see your strengths and your weaknesses in it. Like I noticed that when my voice is off now, not that it's ever on, but it's what it normally is, and then it becomes this horrible, bassy, crackly, prepubescent thing that it becomes during cold season sometimes, and so we've all got our things that just. I just thought that was so funny that you couldn't say that word that must come up and just thwart you over and over again.
Yes, and then it's in neon with headlights, because that's the word that I see everywhere, and. Fortunately, the guys, my co-hosts on Thursday morning, they've given it up. So, the joke has gotten old. So I appreciate that. I mean, they were throwing in all kinds of words. It was just really uncomfortable.
I actually considered looking up some P words and working them in, but I said, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Because I got the sense that it had been done before. I was not breaking any new ground here.
Well, that could be true. I mean, it's been a while now. It's been a while since somebody has come up with something new on that. And I'm okay. I'm okay to let this whole topic die. I know it will never, but I'm really okay because I know now when I go in on Thursday that somebody is going to put that P word in my weather report. But that's okay. That's all right. I can deal. I'm going to practice between now and then. I'm going to practice. Again,
just come up with a new word like rainfulness.
I say rain. What's wrong with rain?
Nothing's wrong with rain. You don't have letters. You don't. Right. I had Cicely Tynan on the show, and she said that she'll make it. Use the big words from meteorology school, And but it really means rain or snow or this or that, and Jim Gardner likes it when she uses the big words, and so we can learn a word, and I get that, but big words scare me sometimes. I just run away. Feel my pain. Yeah, I absolutely feel your pain. That's why I thoroughly enjoy the show, because I got to say,